Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 9th of October 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel here, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, but specifically our JFD Research tab, research page, which you can always check out as well on a daily basis, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here. But for now, guys, let's jump into the charts. Now, the first one I want to touch on here, and I haven't looked at this one for quite a while, and that's Nikkei. So Nikkei, of course, closed in the red yesterday, but looking at the cash index right now, and looking at this 4-hour chart as well. So the cash index is kind of trading currently just slightly below the 21,600 zone and around the 21,500. But as you can see, yesterday the index kind of failed to move below its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, it kind of stayed above it. But like I said, right now the index is trying to climb back up here. For us to get excited about the upside again, ideally we would like to see a push above this level right here, the 21,630 zone, approximately around there. And if we get a nice pop above this, this would also place the price above its 21 EMA, above its 20 SMA inside the Bollinger Bands, and then yep, it could be opening the path towards higher levels. We could even maybe target the 22,000 level, but of course before that we'll aim for the 21,940 territory around here, which is marked by the high of the 1st of October. And after that, of course, the psychological 22 zone, but even better, we could see this one traveling further north, initially aiming for this little area near the 22,185 zone, or even going all the way here towards the high of the 19th of September, or in other words, the highest point of September, and that's around the 22,255 zone. So, but again, I'll repeat myself, all this could come only after we see a clear push above the 21,630 territory. Initially, we'll aim for the 21,940, and then we'll take it from there. But like I said, it could have a possibility to kind of see. We could have a possibility here to see a move all the way higher. But for now, let's go step by step. Let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. So that's why let's see how this is going to play out. In terms of the downside, of course, if it starts dropping below the 200 EMA and falls below the 21,277 territory, approximately around there, which is the low of the 3rd of October, then yep, we could consider further declines. But let's not forget one thing here, and let me just quickly zoom out here. If we draw a nice little tentative downside resistance line here, you can see that yes, we did have a bit of a break here below this, but the index was quick, or should I say the buyers were quick to kind of push this one back above this downside line, and in a way it's kind of currently acting as a nice bouncing ground, a nice trampoline here for Nikkei. So basically for now, long story short, in order to consider the downside, yes, we need to see a drop not only well below this downside line, and of course this level that I just mentioned, the 21,277. So in a way, if we see a drop below this, this will already place the index below this downside line. So that's why we're going to keep an eye on this level here. So keep your eyes on that one. And if we do get a drop below this, then the next potential area of support could be seen around here, and that's the high of the 9th of August, and that's approximately around the 20,780-82 zone. So keep your eyes on that one, guys. But again, like I said, for now, looking at the cash index, it seems that it wants to travel higher. But again, before we could consider higher levels, we need to see a nice, good, strong push above the 21,630 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. AUDNZD, another interesting instrument, and so this pair now, it's getting a little bit into a squeeze. But what I really want to show you guys here, so of course, after we had this nice strong reversal in the beginning of August, it continued to travel higher. But as you can see, in the around the mid-September, maybe closer to the end of September, the pair started reversing and drifting back down. So of course, then the after, let's say, the 1st of October, the slide kind of intensified here, and the pair drifted below this 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart. So in a way, we could draw this little downside resistance line here, taken from the high of the 1st of October. So we can see that the pair is kind of respecting that line for now. But there's always a little but here. So basically, on the other hand, yes, it kind of is drifting lower, and there are some indications that yes, this could continue drifting lower because it's currently below its 200 EMA, below this little short-term downside resistance line. But a small kind of idea here for the bulls, basically. So if we draw something like this here, then we'll have ourselves a nice falling wedge formation. So these tend to, according to textbooks, of course, these tend to break to the upside. So again, but until that happens, until we see that break, we cannot really assume that. So we couldn't, for example, right now say that yes, I mean we'll have a nice maybe a slide a little bit lower here, but then a quick reversal and a push back to the upside. So again, for now, we'll wait for that clear break. If we get that break, and if we get that break above this upper side of the falling wedge formation, then yep, we could consider higher levels. The only thing is that for us, probably to get a little bit more excited with the upside, ideally we would like to see a push back above the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and a push above the 1.0690 zone, so approximately around there. So this way, this kind of in a way could confirm a possible move higher. Initially, we will target these little areas of resistance around the 1.072625 zone, and then we'll take it from there. We're not going to drag this one too much to the upside. Like I said, it could be a tricky one, so it might pop to the upside, but maybe can get held near this key area of resistance and then reverse back to the downside. So and if it does something like that, and let's assume it does move higher straight away, let's say in the kind of the upcoming hours, or maybe tomorrow, let's say if it struggles to push below this little territory right here, below the 1.0660 area, now then, if we get this nice pop here to the upside, yes, we will aim for the 1.072625 zone. But if it struggles to push above that, it could reverse back to the downside, and we could have ourselves a nice range here later on. But of course, I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here, guys. So that's why, for now, just keep your eyes on this scenario. But just wanted to kind of let you know it's something that in case it gets a hold up around here near the 1.072526 zone. Of course, if it drops lower, if it continues to slide below this lower side of the falling wedge, then of course our target here could be around this level right near this low of the 6th of September, and that's approximately around the 1.061415 zone. So we'll keep an eye on that one. So for now, that's the kind of game plan. Keep an eye on the possible breakout here. Let's see which way that's going to break out. NZDJPY, we haven't looked at this one for quite a while now, and basically the pair is currently testing this nice downside resistance line, a bit tentative, of course, but this medium term, or is it medium term? Not yet, probably, so more of a short term still. So downside resistance line taken from the high of July, and now it's currently testing it. Let's see if the bulls have enough steam to push this one higher. Of course, our ideal scenario here would be a push above the 68.26 zone, but kind of given the fact that there's still a bit of room here, in a way we could try to take advantage of this. So in a way, if we get a push above this downside line and a push above the 67.89 zone, then there's a good chance we could see this one drifting a little bit higher. The first strong obstacle to consider would be the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and even though there is a good chance for this one to move higher, still it could in a way stall here near this 200 EMA, and we'll have to take it from there. If it wants to push further north, then that's good. We'll keep an eye on the 68.26 zone. If it struggles to push above this 200 EMA, we could see a bit of a rebound here. A rejection and a move back down here a little bit. So that's why, guys, that's all this is in the scenario if we get a pop above this 67.89 zone, or in a way you could round it up towards the 90 just for that extra cautiousness. In terms of the downside, well, we'll take a very conservative approach here and wait for a drop below the 67.3130 zone, and only then aim for lower levels. Until then, all this kind of territory could be seen as a bit of a neutral one, so that's why we're going to aim only for this level here, the 67.31 zone. If we get a drop below this, then yep, we will aim for the 66.9091 zone, or even below that. But for now, it seems that the downside could be slightly off the table. Of course, I don't want to talk about the upside yet, but for the upside, we also need to see that confirmation break first as well. We cannot really assume that it's going to just continue having moving higher here, because it's still below this downside resistance line, and that downside line continues to hold the rate down. USD-CAD, now we'll have a fresh start here. You can see that the USD-CAD, now the pair is popping back to the upside. Basically, I've removed all the lines from the previous analysis because it was all over the place, and now let's have probably a fresh start here. We can see that lately from the around the 3rd of October, the pair is kind of drifting a little bit on a decline, even though it's kind of sideways, but still on a slight decline. It's trading kind of below this little tentative downside line. The pair is now, after kind of rebounding today from the 50 EMA, it is now pushing back towards this downside line. In a way, this is kind of working out nicely if we are considering this to be as a possible flag. So we have a nice pole here, and now we could be seeing a nice flag here, so a nice bullish flag, I would say. And of course, these formations, yeah, for these formations we would need to see, ideally, of course, a break of that upper side of the flag, but just for that extra kind of cautiousness and extra confirmation, a push above the high of the 3rd of October near the 1.3347 zone could in a way do the trick for more buyers. So we could, a nice good pop above this 1.3347 would open the path for higher levels, because this would confirm a forthcoming higher high, and our first key area of resistance would be seen around here near the 1.3382-83 zone. So, and that basically marks the high of the 3rd of September. We're going to initially target that level. We're not going to drag this one too much to the upside yet. We rather have a look at this pair again once we reach this target. But again, like I said, for now, yes, it seems to be like a bullish flag, but we need some confirmation first. The first confirmation will be a break of this kind of little downside resistance line, and the second more important confirmation will be a nice good push above the 1.3347 zone here, 47.48 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. And in terms of the downside, if this suddenly starts dropping below the lows of yesterday near the 1.3284 zone, then yep, we will consider a possible move lower. Initially, we will only target the 200 EMA. But if that fails to withhold, and if that's is just seen as a temporary obstacle on the way lower, then of course the main target to watch here could be around the 1.32 zone. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this one. GBPUSD, very quick mentioning of this one. I talked about GBPUSD this morning, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here, and let me just quickly put this one. This one right here, the 1.22 zone. So we did have a few flirts with it, but it never kind of broke it. Never the 4-hour candle even didn't even break it below. So it didn't even close below. So that's what I'm trying to say. For now, still the same game plan remains, even though we did have a brief overshoot here of the 1.2274-75 zone. I talked about this level here, but as you can see, the bears kind of quickly pushed the pair back down. Ideally, we would like to see a close at least of a 4-hour candle above this level before kind of considering higher levels. But as you can see, it did have an overshoot, but never kind of stayed above this 1.2274. So that's why, again, we'll be very careful. For now, we're neutral because in order for us to consider further declines, ideally we would like to see that drop below the 1.22 zone, as I mentioned this morning, and only then we will aim for lower levels. So for now, keep your eyes on these two levels, and let me just probably highlight those for our future reference. There we go. So this is going to be our downside breakout level, and this is going to be our upside one. So, but again, upside only for the in the short run, because there are still a lot of obstacles on the way higher here, and in general, the whole situation with the Brexit is not helping the pound. EURGBP. Now, I talked about this morning, and basically what I was saying, if we see a drop below this 0.8937 zone, then yep, we will consider further declines. We had a perfect test of this territory, basically, and rebounded nicely, and this is what I was talking about as well, basically, because if this level holds, then we could see a nice rebound here and a push back to the upside. Now, the rebound happened, but in order for us to get comfortable with higher levels, we still need to wait for that confirmation break above the psychological 0.90 zone before examining higher levels. Again, for now, it's too early to talk about this yet, for now, because it's kind of trying to move towards this 0.90 zone, but it's failing. You can see that the bulls are kind of running out of steam here. Let's see if by the end of today they are able to push the pair above this level. If they are, then yes, we will consider the 0.9015 zone as the next potential obstacle, kind of a little target here. But if that fails, yep, then the much better area of resistance could be seen around the 0.9059 zone, so approximately around there, guys. So that's where we're gonna be targeting after those two breaks here. In terms of the downside, again, the 0.8937 level, that still remains on the table, but even then, if we do see a slide below this, we do have this nice upside support line here, which could in a way hold the rate from sliding further, and for us to consider further declines, let's say in the future, then, well, ideally we would like to see not only a break of this upside line, but also a drop below the 0.8846 zone here, and then target the downside. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on this pair. Quite an interesting one right now. Let's see how this is going to play out. Euro USD, the last one as always. Euro USD, so it had a nice rebound from this 1.0943 territory, but this is what I was saying. So for now we're neutral because it's moving up and down, so basically sideways, and it's currently kind of stuck in this little range between the 1.0940, 42, something like that, and the 1.10 zone, the psychological 1.10. So still, again, the same story remains. I keep repeating this one. Probably you're already tired of me talking about this, but for us to consider the upside, we need to see a push above the 1.1024. In terms of the downside, short-term downside, we need to see a drop below the 1.094240 zone before we could examine slightly lower levels. So for now, guys, keep your eyes on these two highlighted areas. Okay, guys, I really hope you found it useful. Thank you very much and for sticking around and watching it till the end. As always, if you want to join me tomorrow morning at my Traders Espresso, that's 6 o'clock GMT, we'll have a quick look at a few of these instruments. Probably AUDNZD could be an interesting one, NZDJPY as well. We will see how overnight they've moved. But yep, for now, guys, I hope, like I said, I hope you stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and I'll see you tomorrow at my Traders Espresso at 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful evening, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.